Hi friends, welcome back. Today's video is going to be dedicated to all things vampire. I am literally obsessed with the vampire aesthetic, and I'm not sure where this obsession came from because I never saw Twilight or the Vampire Diaries, but I've always been so drawn to these powerful, vengeful creatures. I am currently reading Interview with the Vampire. I am a little bit shy of page 200. This is a book that's always been in my radar, so I'm really happy to finally be picking it up. The other book that I really want to get to in this video is A Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Ever since reading An Education in Malice a couple of months ago, I've been really eager to read more S.T. Gibson, and quite literally everybody online and in real life, when they saw me reading an S.T. Gibson book, they said, "Oh, you have to read A Diary of Blood." So here I am. The only thing that I know about this is that it has to do with one of Dracula's wives. So that's what we're reading in this vlog. Besides that, I thought we could watch a vampire movie. At the time of filming this intro, I have already made this tomato soup that was delicious. So we're actually gonna go back in time to when I started Interview with the Vampire and made the soup.
This rather eccentric Count Dracula. Oh, chap. Have you... Yes, of course, sir. If I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania?
So we are making a blood soup. I'm just kidding, it's tomato soup, but I'm literally so excited for this recipe, you guys. I went grocery shopping earlier today, and so I got ingredients. I got tomato, I got garlic, I got onions. I also got stuff to make a grilled cheese. And it's literally been years since I've last had a grilled cheese. I'm like stupidly excited for this. And if you guys remember my vlog from a couple weeks ago, my welcoming fall vlog, I did go through a bucket list. The very first thing was to make a soup because it's one of the few things I've never really done on my own. Like I've never really cooked a soup, but I've had a day. So I am excited to make my soup, have my grilled cheese, read a little bit more of Interview with a Vampire, which, by the way, I'm a little bit shy of page 100, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I am probably struggling just a little bit because I find it a little bit slow paced, but I'm intrigued with the events. So basically, I think everyone knows this book except for me. I'm like literally the last person to read this book, but basically we follow this vampire, Lewis, as he is sitting down with this journalist telling his life story before he was a vampire, how he became a vampire. So sorry if you guys can hear a car alarm, but he's going through his partnership and his, I wouldn't say friendship, but his relationship with this other vampire, Lestat. He's the vampire that turned Lewis, and it's a very toxic relationship. They don't really see eye to eye, so they have a lot of conflict between each other. Two very different moral codes, because it seems like Lewis still has a little of this moral code that he had when he was a human. Lestat has been a vampire for years, and he doesn't really have a moral code. He's quite ruthless as a vampire. Like I said, it's been a little bit slow paced, so I'm reading a little bit slow. It's also like wordy. Not to be that person like, oh my god, the book has words and I have to read it, but like it does have words, but I have to read it. So it's supposed to be like book 1 in like a 5-part series. I'm not reading that far. Let me tell you that right now. I'm not reading that far, but I'm enjoying the first book quite a bit. I wanted to watch the series, but for some reason the series was made in 2022, and I'm not into that vibe. I'm not into the iPhone TV vibe. So I did put on Dracula last night, the 1992 movie. I didn't finish watching it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I lost my concentration, and also that movie's 2 hours long, and I don't think a movie should be 2 hours long. Anyways, enough talk about books and TV shows and movies. I do want to make my soup. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the tomatoes and the garlic and put them to boil on the stove. Hopefully it works out because every single recipe, like I've seen some people cook the onions and tomatoes in the stove, but I've seen lots more people like bake these items. I'm hoping it comes out okay with me just doing it on my stove because I don't want to use my oven. Like it's a piece of shit oven. Like I don't want to use it. I'll let you guys know. Hopefully it does. closed, I had to take a shower after doing all that cooking. I worked up a sweat. The soup was good. It's just that it didn't have the right color. I wanted it to be red, it's a tomato soup. But I think I either put too little tomatoes, or I think also the way that I cooked the tomatoes and the onions wasn't the best way. I'm actually gonna try my oven next time because I actually just found out that it's Celsius and not Fahrenheit. So the 280 that I thought was Fahrenheit is actually Celsius, and that equates to like 500 Fahrenheit. So we'll have to test out my oven at some point later this week and see if my oven even works. I am now having another glass of sangria, and I'm gonna sit here and read a couple more pages of Interview with a Vampire. I really want to hit page 120 tonight. And I finally finished Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I'm not gonna lie, it's not what I expected at all. Like, the more I kept reading, the more bored I was with the entire thing. Well, after the 200-page mark, I was done. This book should have ended a long time ago. I don't understand how a 350-page book took me a week, exactly a week to read. The descriptions and the writing style got even more long-winded. Like, I think at the very beginning, like, I wasn't in love with it, but I was definitely curious. But as I kept reading, my curiosity just completely died and I was just over it. I'm glad to have read this, but it's nothing that I will ever reread. I am definitely not gonna be picking up the second book or even the third or the fourth or the fifth. I did like Anne Rice's take on her vampire, nihilistic, empathetic vampires. Like Lewis, my favorite character. But I found a lot of her writing just so long-winded. Yeah, I just didn't really love it. It definitely did give like the gothic vibes that I wanted. So I'm happy about that. And I picked up A Diary of Blood. I'm quite literally only like 30 pages into it, 35 pages into it. I picked this up last night at work, read like 10 pages, read another 20-ish in the morning. Really liking it so far. I really do like S.T. Gibson's writing style. And I'm really liking the narration style. Like, it's written by Constanza, which is Dracula's first wife, and she's writing basically a letter. She's writing down the events that happened in order to confirm to herself that yes, this actually did happen. This is what I went through and this is my story. So she's writing it addressing Dracula himself. He's never really named as like Dracula. It's a really powerful page here where Constanza herself says because he stripped her of her name, she's doing the same to him. So I thought it was really, really powerful. I understand that this is less of a Dracula retelling and more of a story on domestic abuse and surviving that. 35 pages in, really liking it so far. Very excited to continue reading. I know this is so many people's favorites S.T. Gibson books, so literally buzzing with excitement. Interview the Vampire was a little bit of a dud. I'm hoping that this is a lot better. Do a midway. Well, I'm past midway at this point. I'm nearly done with A Diary of Blood, and I thought I would come in here and say that I'm really enjoying it. I'm not absolutely adoring it, like I'm not in love with it, but I really like the uniqueness in this Dracula retelling. As you know, we follow the first of Dracula's wives, Constanza. We follow her through literally years and years, centuries of her marriage and relationship with Dracula himself. And I really like how it's portrayed. It's a very toxic relationship. Dracula has a tight hold on her. She can't go out on her own to hunt. She's afraid to speak up to him. He has these volatile moods. Baby girl, this is not a toy. We also saw how he took Magdalena, this other girl who at first Constanza was very, very jealous about, but they became a shield for each other against Dracula. Right now I'm at the point where they have a third person in the relationship. There's like 4 people in this relationship. Dracula, Constanza, Magdalena, Alexei, which is a young boy, and he is kind of like the catalyst to this thing that we're building up towards that we really know happens at the very beginning. We know that Constanza kills Dracula, and we're at that point and everything's just so filled with tension. Like I said, I'm really enjoying it, but it's not gonna be a 5 star. I don't think it will be, but I'm really enjoying it. I really like the writing style. Yeah, I just have to come on and say that because I feel like I've been vlogging about the books in the beginning and then at the end and not in the middle. There's actually been a couple days since I finished A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I needed a couple days to like recollect my thoughts because I'm a little bit underwhelmed by this book. I'm not gonna lie to you. And like I was saying to you guys, I was enjoying this novel while I was reading it. I really like the way that S.T. Gibson channeled the Baroque writing style and incorporated in her writing style in here as well. It really transported me back to whatever century the vampires were on. I like the power dynamic between the immortal characters and how that was explored. How she took this story that's usually sexy, alluring, obsessive, and really all consuming and spun it in a way to talk about domestic violence and bring light to that. I thought it was really, really smart, really clever, really original as well and unique. I've never really seen that done in a Dracula retelling. However, I just felt a little bit underwhelmed because the bare bones of this plot was so repetitive. Not much goes on besides seeing the entire cycle play out again whenever Dracula got bored of Constanza and introduced another member in their really twisted family. It was really repetitive in that regard, and I wish there was something else for the plot. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a couple days. I don't remember much details already. I am really glad that I did get to it. I'm just a little bit sad that it was underwhelming for me. And that's the end of this video as well, you guys. It was really, really fun to read in the spooky season with some vampires. I really want to get some more vampire books. I got some books on my radar to get in the future, and maybe we can do a part 2 to this. But for now, this was really, really fun. Sadly, both of the books that I read in this vlog were quite okay, but I really like the different perspectives and the different characterizations to Dracula and vampires that both of these books took. If you guys have watched until the very end and don't know what to comment, comment a blood or vampire emoji, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.